And welcome back to KingWoes Court, episode 37, I think it is, bound. Woo! How are we all doing? I was sitting there today. I was like, I didn't do a podcast yet, so I better throw one on. And I said to myself, well, look, there's no fucking gigs on in this country. What's going on? And Bloodstock was on just at the weekend, just gone. I was like, well, like, why don't we have a chat about some gigs that we've seen over the years, and what some of our favourite gigs. I mean, we've a wide range of guests here today, or a panel, if you will. So we're going to have a chat about some of our favourite gigs we've seen in Ireland over the years. They can be local gigs or big gigs. It doesn't really matter. But, you know, it'd be nice to reminisce and get ourselves ready for when we eventually can go to bloody gigs again, you know. So joining me tonight is Cormac Tustead, it's his second week in a row on the show. Thank you, Cormac. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Cheers for having me.
Excellent. Cathal Murphy, how are you, brother? How are you?
I am good. I'm good. Looking forward to it. First time of the show.
Hopefully it won't be your last.
Well, hopefully.
Well, it depends on how we share. Yeah, Gerry, am I going to call you O'Cahan, is it? O'Cahan?
Keane.
Yeah. Gerry Keane. How are you, my man?
Excellent, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And one thing I will say, you're an avid supporter of Irish rock and metal, so I appreciate it. And I'm sure anyone else who's either worked with you or spoke to you appreciates it as well. Don't ever forget that, man.
Thanks very much. That's very nice. Yeah. All for grassroots, all the way.
That's what we like on this show. Kallum Watts, my man, how are you?
I'm pretty good, man. Good to be on the show.
It's great to see. It's great to see your face. It really is. If I could touch your face, I would, but I can't. So
it's been a minute, hasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so thanks, lads. First of all, thanks for coming on to the show. We're gonna have a nice, bit of talk, reminiscing about good shows. I wrote a couple of ones down myself. And Gerry, I'd say you've probably been to a few of the ones I've been at, and you actually, Colin, because we're of the older generation, you know.
So yeah.
Fortunately.
So, yeah. But so look, we'll start off with, what was the last gig that you went to actually? And we'll go around and then we'll see. Cormac, what was the last gig that you can remember you went to?
How's it going? The last gig for me was Slipknot back in the January before we all went into lockdown. They were supporting Slipknot and Behemoth were supporting them. It was my first time seeing Behemoth, and it was Slipknot for the third time. And holy shit, Behemoth were class. And I'm not really that much into black metal, but seeing Behemoth live, I was like, these lads just have finesse and energy like no other.
Yeah, they have a certain thing about them, haven't they?
They do. Like, it was just, everyone was into it, even if you're not into what Behemoth do, the whole satanic thing and the black metal thing. Everyone was just loving it. The theatrics of it, the drumming, and just the energy was deadly.
Where was that one on?
That was in, I was about to say DO2, and then some people say the point, but the 3 Arena.
Yeah.
In my head, it's always lodged as DO2 for some reason.
Yeah, and in my head, it's the Point Depot. So.
The Point.
Yeah. See, there's the generation.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so Slipknot, that was my third time seeing them. I saw them when I came back here in 2015.
Yeah.
And I believe they were barred here for like an 11 or 10 year ban. Does anyone know what that was about? Because I've yet to know why they were banned from here.
When was that? Was that after the RDS gig, maybe?
No, this was also in the 3 Arena, but it was in 2015.
Sorry, I don't remember.
The Grey chapter after Paul Gray died and Joey left.
Right, okay.
But I can't remember, was it Rammstein or them, but apparently they nearly burnt down the building. That
would have probably Rammstein, actually. I was at that gig, actually.
Yeah.
Ooh, now I wish I went to Rammstein. What is it? They had to cancel their tour, but they rescheduled everything, but now they had to leave out Belfast. And
they had to leave out Belfast, like, you know.
God.
I love that. Yeah, it's gas.
All of them, but just the Belfast. And
Yeah.
but they're open now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
There was a festival on there, like 10,000 people, and
One of those
Sure.
pilot things, was it?
yeah,
I don't know.
Um,
Well, Sonic ongoing this week as we speak, every night.
Who is where? In Belfast?
Yeah, Custom House Square. Yeah, like
Right.
10,000 people a night for the last 6 or 7 nights in a row.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is that kind of
Yeah.
every kind of music or just a specific type?
everything. Yeah,
See, that's it. Like, it makes you feel like you were losing out, doesn't it?
it really does.
yeah. It's I don't know. It's insane.
Yeah, seeing people like at Bloodstock, during the the weekend there, and uploading pictures, is like,
The only
itch is there.
the only caveat I say is it did look cool, but wait 2 weeks and see if there's a spike in cases, and if there isn't, then that will say an awful lot.
True.
And if
Yeah.
there is,
Very true.
it's just we shouldn't necessarily be looking to the UK to be the leaders in
Anything.
No.
But no, I know what you mean. Wish we could have gigs here.
I think it's just frustration, from a punter's point of view and from a musician's point of view as well,
For sure.
Everyone's affected. Like even and like I have mates in wedding bands, and people who just do it for the passion and for the crack, and they actually have families to keep the lights on and get food on the plates, but like they couldn't even do that. I'm like, they had to like turn to a second job, and like it's just it's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
everyone's affected on this.
Yeah, in some level or other,
Definitely.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so that was the last gig I can remember was Slipknot, and just that energy, just even for me that night, I don't know, my inner child just came out again, and I never really go into mosh pits, but I was like, feck it, I'll go into one.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Slipknot
definitely.
was the last one.
Carl,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, Carl, what was your last gig, should I say?
I think the last gig I was at actually was also Behemoth, but it was I'm on a marathon Behemoth in King John's Cathal.
Ooh.
Which
I was
was
hoping someone would bring that show up.
unbelievably good. And like I had it in the calendar, like I'm definitely going to that. And then it was one of those things where we had friends visiting from Canada who aren't into metal at all, and they were only going to on that day. I was like, oh shit, oh no, what am I going to do? I don't want to miss the show, but I can't. And so I just bought them some extra tickets for the show. So they came
End of
along.
the year award, huh?
They absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. Behemoth are just always amazing. They're so serious about it. They always give everything. I think I prefer them to a Monomarth, although I love a Monomarth. They have their thing and they do their thing, and it's kind of just the same thing all the time. And fair enough, they do it well. But I think I was more impressed with Behemoth. But yeah, it was cool. It was great. And what was amazing about it was I don't think they quite sold out. I think capacity is 2,000, and they had like 1,850 people at it, something like that.
Right.
It was a Monday night, and it wasn't even a bank holiday Monday. It was just a Monday night.
Awesome.
They fully half people at the show were not from Limerick, so that means people traveling, people going out for meals, people getting hotels. A lot of money came into Limerick on a Monday night,
Which is great.
That opened a lot of eyes. I think if it wasn't for COVID, I think it would have happened again since.
I'd say so.
Absolutely.
Gerry, did you go to that show?
No, I did not.
No. Gerry, what was the last show you were at that you can remember?
The last gig I was at was the Vapors. They were supporting Bruce Foxton, who was the original bass player for the Jam.
Oh, cool.
And he was in Stiff Little Fingers as well for 14 years. He was actually in Stiff Little Fingers longer than the Jam.
Right.
That was in Belfast in the Limelight. Saturday, 7th of March last year. It was just before everything was starting to kick off. Wow. So we were debating whether we would go at all, because it was that time when if someone coughed beside you, it was like, fuck. It was it was just it had moved from it's happening in Asia to it's here. So we went, and it was a great night. And then I developed a hell of a cough afterwards. Came home and had to isolate for 2 weeks.
Jesus.
Oh,
yeah. But everything was negative, thankfully. But it was so scary because it was all still brand new.
Brand new, yeah.
And the gig was fantastic. And that was the last one I was at, yeah. And just looking now, like Belfast is only like 40 minutes or so from where I am here in Dundalk, obviously.
Yeah.
So looking at Belfast now, wide open, and then Dublin, 40 minutes the other direction.
Knocked down.
I don't know. It's just, does anybody know anything? Like,
no, I don't think so. But that was a good show to go to, actually, man. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Limelight's a great venue. Belfast is a great city for.
I love it.
And gallivanting, yeah.
Some of my favourite gigs that I've actually played were up in the Limelight. You know, it's a fantastic venue to play. So
yeah, it's a lovely spot. Yeah,
and the metal crowd up there, they're so fucking cool. They're so bang on, like, you know.
It's a whole other level. It's literally is like another country.
Yeah. Not
to take anything away from what we have here, but it's a whole other level. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Once you get down there, it's a whole different buzz, but the same buzz. It's really hard to describe.
Yeah, it is. I get what you're saying. I've experienced that many a time there. Yeah. Kallum, what was the last gig you were at, bro?
My last gig was Valentine's Day 2020, Flesh God Apocalypse in Voodoo. It was absolutely insane. I just remember it didn't start till late because all their equipment got stuck on the boat. It was just a fucking storm. So there was no opening band. It didn't start till like 9 o'clock. My God, they make up for it. Just the drumming just was on point, and just one of the most brutal pits I've ever been in. I remember coming home and just like big gash in the head and just covered like some shirtless barbarian. It was just epic.
That sounds like a fucking legendary show, actually. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I think that's what I missed the most, though. Just that chaos of a mosh pit.
Yeah, I don't miss that anymore. A fucking way.
No, if I'm not bleeding and limping out, did I really go at this point?
Oh yeah, God, to be young again. What
that's every day for me with no mosh pit.
Jerry,
I'm feeling it now at this stage as well, so I'm not far behind you.
Jerry, I'm sure we could tell these boys the stories of some of the mosh pits we've been in over the fucking years.
SFX.
Oh, well, there we go. Let's talk about some of the gigs that we can never forget. I'll just start here. Slayer in '94. SFX. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, Jerry, you were at that, were you?
I wasn't. I've seen Slayer a couple of times. I wasn't at that one. I remember SFX. I was at Wasp. Suicidal Tendencies. Oh, no, Metallica was the Top Hat, wasn't it? 88.
Yeah, Top Hat,
just before. No, that was it, I think.
When you think of some of the bands that have played in small venues here, it's crazy.
That's it.
Carl, you were at the SFX, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Was that the year they played 2 nights in a row?
No, that was in the Ambassador.
That was 97. No, they did 2 nights in a row. The SFX. Definitely.
Oh yeah, they did. Sorry, no, that was later on. 94, they played. Yeah, 94. They played with Machine Head.
Machine Head. I remember that because got the Machine Head album, and I absolutely loved it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I could not wait for Machine Head to get the fuck off the stage so we could watch Slayer. I was like, go away, come back to your own show, and I would love that, but I just want to see Slayer.
Yeah.
It was my first time seeing them, and it was unbelievable.
It was insane. It was fucking insane. I remember.
It was nuts.
I think it wasn't that gig. I broke someone's nose at a Slayer gig actually in a mosh pit.
Well, I was going to say it could have been. I was up the front with my cousin. We were beside each other at the barrier the entire time, and about maybe in the middle of the last song, and they finished with Chemical Warfare.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, it was finally too much, and security had to pull Dermot out over the barrier because he was just falling over. And I went over with him. And for some reason, I don't understand who made this call. The first aid station in the SFX was underneath.
Yeah.
So they pull him in, and he's under the stage, and I'm in beside him. And there's a paramedic with a torch. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And all you can hear is the double kicks coming through the stage from over your head. And he's semi-conscious on the ground, and he looks like he's saying something. And the paramedic's like, what's he saying? What's he saying? And I leaned in, and he's just singing the lyrics along with he's barely breathing, and he's still, God to the throne, must be watching from hell. Oh, why do you never master on the stage?
Brilliant. I love that.
Brilliant.
I saw Pantera in the SFX.
Oh, wow.
Oh, jelly.
That was like my second or third gig, and I remember we went to the Big Tree. The Big Tree that used to be down there. It's gone now. It was a famous local pub, and I went in, and I was nearly 17 or whatever, but I wasn't a big drinker back then, and we were all we went in there for a pint, then we went outside or drink cans outside. The whole road was just covered in fucking rockers and metalers and all fucking drinking on the street. It was fucking ghastly. But that was to see that show in such a small venue for them. Yeah, I know it was only on the Vulgar Display tour, so like they were only kind of hitting their stride really in terms of getting popular. Fucking unreal. And there's certain gigs I just cannot forget, and that's one of them, definitely.
Yeah.
Gerry, did you see Pantera live?
Oh God, where did I see Pantera? I did. I seen them supporting somebody. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I have seen them.
Megadeth or something, was it? Maybe.
Possibly, yeah. I remember that double bill. Actually, Megadeth played the second night. Priest and Annihilator were in the. No, it wasn't the SFX. Was it the SFX? And then Megadeth, Alice in Chains, and the Almighty were on the following night in the Point.
Yeah.
That was 91. That was a hell of 2 nights in a row.
It's great when you can get those kind of things where there's 2 or 3 gigs in a row. It's rare, but when it happens, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
A gig that came to mind there was when you asked us what was the last gig we went to before COVID hit. I was actually working on one gig, and it was Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel.
Wow.
And so I was just helping reeling in all their gear. And
that was in the National Stadium, wasn't it?
That was it. I'd never been in there before, and I was like, this place exists, and it's brilliant. I'd never been there before, and it's actually such a brilliant venue for a gig like that. It's like it wasn't too.
My dad
wasn't too
saw
smart.
the Who back in the day.
Sorry,
Your dad what?
My dad saw the Who in the National Stadium in
Class.
like 1960 something.
brilliant.
God bless
They're a class band.
Don't forget, like Tin Lizzy played there and everything, man. Fucking. That was literally what. Oh, look at this Who T-shirt. I love it. That was like the National Stadium back in the day when you think about it. So, like to see metal gigs like that one in there was fucking. I say it was awesome to go to that gig. Actually,
Oh, it was brilliant. Like I've never been like to such. It was just the biggest trash night ever, and to see those three bands, Exodus, Death Angel, and Testament. Holy crap! I'd never come across such a tight band who played live.
They're unreal.
So tight.
I saw them in Vicar Street, I think a year or two before that, with Grand Magus, and I think it was yeah.
That was Vicar Street. I like Vicar Street. I saw Behemoth at the Gates and Wolves on the Throne run there.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that was
fun. A good gig at the Gates. With first time, never listened to them before, and then when they just came on stage, it was like, wow.
Yeah, they're quite legendary, aren't they? In their own way.
They lived up to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like that, there's been some fantastic gigs. Is there any gigs you didn't want to go to that you went to? Can you remember anything like that? Or like, I'll give you an example, and then you can walk off this. A friend of mine was made go to a Backstreet Boys gig.
Ooh.
He hadn't got a choice. So have you any kind of anything like that? Like,
I get
meatloaf,
two, right? One turned out quite well, the other didn't. So years and years ago, I was going out with a girl who was really into Erasure, and so we see Erasure. And I was trying to be open-minded, like, okay, it's not my thing, but hey, it might be good. And it was fucking terrible. And the main reason it was terrible, it basically consisted of one guy on the stage singing to backing tracks.
Oh God.
That was it. And I thought, this is a karaoke night. This isn't a gig. Like,
yeah.
This is boring. I left for the last bus. The relationship didn't last. And so in the same vein, like years later, my partner was like, she's really into Nine Inch Nails, and she said, look, the Nine Inch Nails are playing in Brixton. Will we go over to London and see them? And I knew Nine Inch Nails, they're fine, but I'd never seen them live. And I kind of thought, Nine Inch Nails, that's kind of electronic-y stuff. God, that might suck as well. That might just be Trent Reznor and a load of backing tracks, but fine, we'll go. And it was one of the best shows I've ever been to. It was unbelievable. Just savage bands. Amazing.
Absolutely. Gerry, you were saying something there.
Yeah, meatloaf.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh God.
I think it was no, it might have been the Point. But he came out anyway. I was working in a hotel in Dundalk, and there was 4 or 5 members of staff, and they were all crazy to go and see him. So we went up, booked a hotel for the night, had a couple of pints, drinking all day, blah, blah, blah. They were all excited. Went to Meatloaf. He came out, and there was a plastic boulder on the stage to give it like a kind of rustic atmosphere or something like that.
Okay.
And he put his leg on the boulder and started singing No Matter What by Boyzone.
What?
Yeah, that was the first song of the night. Now, I know a lot of people have covered that song, but it is primarily known nowadays as that Boyzone song, but we'll file that under whatever.
Jesus Christ, me.
It was absolutely atrocious. He was so bad. And I remember turning to my mate about 20 minutes into it and said, I'm leaving. I'm going back to the hotel. And my mate said, oh, you have to wait for Bad Out of Hell. And I said, I don't.
No.
And I was back drinking in the hotel half an hour into it. He was fucking awful.
I think he only had one good album in him, and that was it. Literally, I mean, he couldn't even perform after that album. That's just my take.
This is when he had a bit of a comeback. Like he used to play like country clubs and that around Ireland in the 90s. Yeah. But he did have a bit of a I think he released Bad Out of Hell 6 or 7 or something. I don't know.
The Revenge.
This time it's Arsenal. in 2000 or whatever it was, and it was the Tree Arena. Yeah, it was just so bad.
God. Kallum, did you ever have any gigs you didn't want to go to, but you were made go to?
It wasn't really a gig. It was more of I was in Ibiza, of all places, for a friend of mine's 21st. and we went to this fucking club with Steve Angelo or some fucking DJ, and it was just, yeah, I was in the same boat. I was like, I have no idea who any of these people are. I was like, well, at least if I'm here, I'm gonna get drunk, go to the bar. €14 for a bottle of Desperados. I was like, nah. Fuck this. Yeah.
That's because people that are out of their bin are usually just throwing money at the bar over there, you know?
30 quid for a fucking vodka Red Bull. I was like, nah. So I had to sit there, stay sober, and listen to this. It's like, nah.
Oh no, I would have left. I would have left. Do you know one gig I went to actually years ago with my sister? And I thought I wasn't sure I was going to like it, even though I liked the band, and it was Ocean Colour Scene in the Point Depot, and it was fucking awesome. It was a great show.
Yeah. Good band. Yeah,
like it was a pleasant surprise, if you get me. And another one was the Rammstein gig, because my partner, she's a huge Rammstein fan, and I wasn't kind of pushed to go going. One of the best gigs I've ever been to.
Yeah, it's always the one that kind of surprises you, you know, that you kind of remember the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rammstein would definitely be on my bucket list to see.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think we were considering going to Belfast, but we hadn't kind of set it in stone. I'm kind of glad now that we didn't, because they're not playing, as we said.
No.
You know, another one I was at and I absolutely loved the whole day was when Rush played here in the Tree Arena. Was any of you at that?
I wasn't, no.
That was, I mean, like, again, like all my mates were going, so myself and ourselves said, we'll go. There was about 20 of us went to that thing. It was brilliant. And I wasn't a huge fan before that gig, but man, if you've ever seen, you would never have seen three old guys rocking as hard as these lads, ever, until you see them live, you know. It was one of the most enjoyable gigs I've ever been to in my life. And again, that was in the Tree Arena. You know, like you can get good hit and miss gigs in there, you know. I saw Roger Waters in there, and until we were moved up to the balcony kind of area, the sound was awful. It was absolutely awful, you know, which was a shame for that show.
One gig that I'll always remember was Fleetwood Mac in the Three Arena. But when it was the whole band, the whole members actually reunited to come back for the gig. So
yeah,
it's like a once in a lifetime moment. So me and my mom were huge Fleetwood Mac fans, and first bit of music I ever grew up on. And to have that, you know, that experience with my mom going to our first gig together, and because we also shared the same birthday, so we just went on September, and then have the whole band back again, and just witness them, like, this is brilliant. So that was quite enjoyable night that I'll always remember. It's not metal, but Fleetwood Mac
doesn't matter.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Here, I was Ocean Colour Scene, but I still mentioned it, you know what I mean?
Yep. All right. Sorry?
No, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, what's a local band or a local gig that you'll always remember?
I think probably the first time I saw This Looks Like, who are boys from Drogheda, and Gerry, I'm sure you know them. They were one of my favourite Irish bands ever. And I'm lucky now to have Johnny Carey in my band, you know. So I struck up a lifelong friendship with the boys, you know. But just when I saw Scavenger for the first time as well, I was in Cork. Myself and ourselves were in Cork, and I heard Scavenger. I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe they're an Irish band. Do you know what I mean? They were that good. Yeah, that's kind of, for me, those kind of bands really stuck out. When I saw Psychosis actually as well, they were some band. They are some band, sorry.
Yeah.
And Grey Stag. When I saw Grey Stag for the first time as well, blew me away.
Or does anyone remember? Now I'm not into hardcore, but this band, when I saw them live in Fibers, I was like, "Holy shit!" I think Red Enemy.
Oh, Red Enemy, yeah.
Finesse amount of energy. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Unreal band.
Brilliant band, and obviously the lads in This Place Hell have always, you know, brought like a ton of energy in their game every time.
Love them. I love them.
Oh, does anyone know what they're doing these days? Because I'm dying to know.
Well, I was talking to Steve. Stephen was at the interviews a few weeks ago.
Oh, deadly.
Yeah,
I forgot he's a part of this now.
They're still going, but they're not kind of doing that per se at the minute.
Fair. Well, yeah, there's not really much anyone can do.
So they're still active, so which is a good thing.
Yeah. Okay.
The very first gig I went to, it was a local band, but it wasn't here. It was in Germany, so it was a local German band. But it wasn't anyone famous. We were over staying with some friends of my parents. I was like 16, and their daughter was going into a show, so we went along with her. And I always remember it was some local band. They were called Spectre Dragon. Their singer had a staff with a dragon on top of it, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And were they any good? I can't remember. But I remember I went to the show, and I remember coming away going, I totally want to do that. That was amazing. Whatever the hell that was, I definitely want more of that. That was probably like 91, maybe 92. And after that, I decided, right, I'm going to find out. That must happen in Ireland, right? That kind of thing must be going on. Let's do that.
That's awesome, man. Some of your favorite local gigs or bands gigs?
Well, I'm lucky enough to live 2 minutes from the Spirit Store.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been in and out of there over the years, and we've got another 2 or 3 good venues around the town. So locally, Pod Racer or the GAC are doing really well. Judas from Derry, I saw them about 3 or 4 years ago. And they were just amazing. One guy that I actually saw recently, well, it's 2 years ago now. He sent me some of his music on Facebook, and he was looking for gigs. So I got him a gig in Warren Point, which is about half an hour from here. And I went down to see him just to say hello. Obviously dealing through social media is great and all that, but meeting people in the flesh too is cool. So
absolutely.
And that was Davy Kerrigan from Castle Dale, the Davy K project.
Oh, Davy K, yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, it was one of the best pub gigs I've ever been in my life. He is absolutely sensational.
Check him out.
Superb.
Kallum, some of your favorite local gigs or bands or whatever?
Probably the first one that came to mind was Scathed. Now, I had no idea they were playing. I had no idea who they were. It was just me and a friend met up to go to a pub, and they just happened to be there. And from that day forward, massive Scathed fan. This was years ago. I think my friend was going to France, so that was probably 4, maybe even 5 years ago. And we just went to the pub and they played. I was like, wow. I think they're even a 4-piece back then. It was so long ago, but Jesus Christ. In this tiny little pub, and it wasn't even in Dublin, it was in Portlaoise of all places.
Wow.
Just blown away. And I've been following them since. The last album was amazing. Other local gigs, Dead Label, of course. I've seen them in Fibbers as a 3-piece, and then when they came a 4-piece, I saw them play with Alien Weaponry, and just the intensity as a 4-piece just ramps up to 11.
Mick makes a great addition to that band. Mick Ryan's
an amazing guitarist, and an amazing. He's a fantastic addition to that band. He really, really is.
Just a great guy overall. He's such a lovable sweetheart, but my God, one of the tightest players I've ever come across as a guitar player.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, some good old gigs there. Was forever. I'll ask you one. Go on.
Let me just throw in Vendetta Loaf.
Oh, Vendetta Loaf, yeah.
Another great band.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah. I booked them here. What was it? It was about two years ago, and they came up and they absolutely floored the place. Great band. And I see they're heading out on a UK tour or something next year. They're a great band.
Yeah, they're a great band, actually. Yeah, they really are.
They're just recording a new album at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
They did a video with Angel, so they're gonna have a new video coming out soon enough as well.
Yeah, so that'll be out soon enough. Yeah. One more kind of topic question before we finish up. Well, two more maybe, but we go with this one for now. Just keeping with the local bands. Was there ever a gig where you thought the local band upstaged the touring band? Can you remember?
Ooh. Trying to think of this one.
Ooh. The silence is deafening.
It is. So obviously we're not the Irish bands aren't as good as you all think, what?
Well, it's not local, but I remember seeing Rage Against the Machine opening for Suicidal Tendencies.
Wow.
So that was a bit of that was that was in France, in Paris, and I remember, was it Mike? I can't remember now whether it was the singer or it's Mike Muir or Zach, whatever his name is, from Rage Against the Machine. The t-shirt,
Zach De La Rocca.
the t-shirts had their t-shirts had how to make petrol bombs.
That's probably Zach.
Yeah, it must have been, and they had instructions on the back of the merchandise on how to make petrol bombs, and
Oh my god!
he was fucking furious because the British police had confiscated everything before they were left to go to mainland Europe.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, and understandably fucking so, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's one thing saying putting Jesus as a cunt on the back of your shirt, but you know, openly, you know, letting terrorism go ahead. Yeah, no, that's.
In fairness, there were very few terrorists who were going to show up and go, "Shit, he's not wearing the t-shirt. How am I going to make a petrol bomb now?
What am I going to do?"
Yeah.
I have this petrol. What am I going to do with it?
The bomb was the t-shirt. One show I went to, and that again, it wasn't a local band, but I went to see Cathedral supporting him in the Olympia.
Oh wow!
Oh, him, yeah.
No, I fucking hate him. But I went myself and herself went after Cathedral.
You were vastly better than him, yeah.
Yeah. Oh Jesus, it was great seeing Cathedral in the Olympia, you know. And years later, I was talking to Lee Dorian, and I was like, "What the fuck were you doing supporting him?" And he goes, "Man, you gotta roll with the punches. You gotta make the money, you know." I was like, I said, "You fucking sell out. You buy me a pint."
I'll hide in the corner here. Don't mind me, lads.
You're a him fan, eh? Oh god.
Yeah. Well, it's like I don't know. For him, it's just instead of the typical goth stuff, they did a bit more rock and roll with it, which is like, yeah, this I can appreciate.
Yeah. Okay, but we all have our mishaps, you know.
All right. We see how it is.
Yeah. Callum, can you remember any gigs where we just like the support band upstage the main headliners?
Ooh. Maybe All Legion slightly over Obscura. Now Obscura are one of the tightest bands I've ever seen, but All Legion are just on a whole new level.
What are they called? All Legion?
Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. It's like a progressive tech death band. So when you think they're playing like 8 strings and fucking weird time signatures, and they're just tight as anything, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. Like you listen to the CD and you listen to it live, it's exactly the same. And Riley from the lead singer is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. We were chatting away with him. The first time I saw him, I was chatting away with him, and they asked him about the set list. And then the second time I walked in and saw him, he's like, "Oh, dude, it's from you from last year." It's like, so little small things like that, just warm your heart, you know. But yeah, definitely All Legion is one of the tightest bands I've ever seen. And it's taking nothing against Obscura, but just Jesus Christ, amazing.
Yeah. It's great though to hear all the different stories from shows. I think that Geez, I think the maddest gig I was at was actually no. I've one. Did you any of you go to see the Ozfest in Punchestown?
Do you mean Slayer Fest?
Yes, Slayer Fest.
No, I didn't go. I think I had a ticket and I had to work or something. But so were you there?
I was.
So
It's a
tell
Slayer
me
gig.
I heard this story, and if it's true, it's absolutely amazing. So actually, even if it isn't true, just pretend. And it's that it was threatening to rain all day, and when they started to play "Raining Blood," it started to piss rain.
Yeah, absolutely. That 100% happened.
That's rain.
Tom Arroyo just looks up when it's slashing rain and that big cheesy grin that he does, and they fucking ripped it in then that song. And the place went ballistic. And that was the last time I went into a fucking Slayer mosh pit. I went fucking ballistic. I just went, wah! Boom, in you go. And it was head first. That was a great gig. That was like, apart from the whole bullshit with Ozzy, you know what I mean? But that whole thing of like System of a Down, oh fuck me, they were amazing at that gig. And Dave Lombardo even came out and played a few tracks with them, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, I love stuff like that where you get little surprises, like, you know.
Or what was the festival that was going to happen here before COVID? Was like Gojira or we're on it and Deftones?
Sunstruck.
Yeah,
I
like
can see the poster in my head.
Yeah, that's right.
that was a festival that I think everyone in this country was so looking forward to. I think what we needed the most in this country to happen. And it's such a shame that was taken away from us.
Sunstroke, was it?
Sunstroke, yeah.
Yeah.
Sunstruck, yeah.
Is it in Basestown or something like that?
Yeah, that was an old festival years ago as well. Like, I think
Yeah, because was it like on the 25th anniversary return or something like that?
that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
But sure, look, I mean, hopefully we'll get back to that stage where there's going to be fucking shows all over the place. I can only imagine this country is going to go fucking mental for live gigs when we're allowed to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're so behind comparison to Europe.
I'm afraid that it'll be a buyer's market in that I don't know how many venues there's going to be, but it's going to be less than there were before because some of them will have just down. And everybody and their dog will be trying to do shows. There'll be shows that were cancelled that people are trying to reschedule. There's new bands coming in that are looking to do shows. And venues are going to be able to pick and choose. And that's what I'm slightly of that it'll be. Well, we can have 9 nights of the ABBA cover band, or we can have your original metal band, prog, doom, death stuff. Yeah. Well, you know, and I'm afraid that it isn't 100% mainstream, might lose out. I'm not saying it will, but that's kind of something I'll be keeping an eye on, you know.
Absolutely.
That's a fair point.
Gerry, would you think it'll get to that stage again where you'll be able to put gigs on again, or what's your take on it?
I've 2 bookings down the north at the minute. As regards the south, it's still pretty desolate.
Not a nice word to hear, is it?
It's not. No, it's good to know people are back rehearsing and practicing.
Oh yeah, well I know there's a fair few bands you see on Facebook that were rehearsing, including myself. Touchwood will be a gig.
That's good
in the future.
As regards where everyone's going to play, it was always tough for original bands in the good times.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm afraid of. It's not going to be any easier.
Yeah.
It's definitely not. No.
Like I was actually talking to Ed Brophy the other day. Because he plays guitar in a Slayer cover band we're doing, and we were just talking about this kind of thing. And he said, "Look, maybe the easiest of all the bands he's in, the one that's going to be easiest to get a gig with is going to be a cover band."
Yeah.
Which is, okay, cool, because we're doing their cover band, so we obviously want a gig. It's kind of depressing that's going to be the one that will probably be the easiest to get a show with.
Yeah. I had said that to him as well. I think that of all the bands that we're in, and me and him are in 3 bands together now, that's going to be the one that'll probably get the gigs first.
Yeah, that's definitely.
But sure, there you go.
a transition period, and it's a bit of a mess, and then we get back to. But then, what's normal? Where people are still fighting to get any kind of gigs at all, and I still kind of despair of the fact that it's so hard. It's so hard to get paid or to get anything for playing music.
Oh, the hustling I used to do back in the day was just, like you get some great gigs and some great people who just, great show. They'll toss you a bit of extra cash. I'm like, oh, Jesus, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Some people are just, the hustle it's hard, man. Well, and it's going to get harder.
I remember, this is going back to 2009, 2010. I used to run Winterfest in Cork along with Jim Tobin. We did that for 4 years, the week before Christmas. And we quit because we couldn't make any money out of it. We were losing money every time. And I remember talking to a mate of mine in Germany who was running a small festival over there, similar size, maybe, 200, 300, 400 people. And he was like, oh my God, why are you quitting? Like, you're always selling your tickets and you have great lineups. So how are you not making money? And I said, well, look, listen, if you want to have a look at the books and tell me where we're going wrong. So yeah, he did. He had a quick look and he said, okay, let's look at your accounts. Okay, here's your sponsorship. Okay, and here's your ticket sales. All right. And he looked down and then he said, where's your take at the bar? And I was like, the what now? Yeah, the bar. Over here, the bar gives us 30% of their takings. And I was like, what?
Oh, fuck.
We have to pay the bar for the privilege of having the festival in their building. Whereas in Germany, they were at a venue that gave them 20%, and another venue across town said, we'll give you 30% and move your festival. That's, I don't understand why that doesn't happen here. Well, I mean, obviously I do understand why it doesn't happen here, but it's
I think just not many people are informed, so they just get away with that.
Yeah.
It's just if they keep going along with it and people are not aware of it, you have to push them on it. People just have to be more educated with the stuff. It's like there's no, like as I said, like when I used to, do cover gigs back in the day and having to hustle, it's an open warfare. Like it's kind of, you can make up your own rules along the way, whoever's hiring you, and it's just kind of, it's hard.
Funny because we have this reputation, and the government would always like to present Ireland as the country of the arts and music and dance and theatre, and isn't it fantastic? It's great if you're a consumer. It's shit to work in. And we kind of have this image of Germany as being very, very efficient and mechanical and industrial, but they value arts, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Even like state spending, the EU average for spending on the arts is about 0.6% of GDP. And in Ireland, it's 0.01% of GDP. And this is a country that presents itself as arty, musical.
There's no, I mean, Gerry, you can attest to this. There's no support from like government for areas and that for local promoters. Sure, doesn't that?
That me?
Yeah, you're Gerry, yeah. So.
Sorry. I just misheard you. No, I mean, like I'm lucky enough. I work full time. It's something I just do on the side because I love music, love having the crack. But I mean, I know a lot of my friends are musicians, and I know firsthand what they're going through. And apart from not having the anger at seeing Northern Ireland, which is 5 minutes from where we are here, opening up, full gates, wide open, and then absolutely nothing here and zero support. And I don't get those government-sponsored gigs that are happening in Dublin. The Keys Festival, and there's a few things in the Grand Social. And like, how can they know these are going to be okay to go ahead when everything else is? You can't have a band at your wedding.
Not only that, they didn't do any follow-up testing to see did anything happen as a result. Those are nothing to do with music. Those are everything to do with a box-ticking exercise that we can say, look, we're piloting this scheme and we look good. It's nothing.
But Listen, we're going to actually finish up there. It's been fantastic talking to everybody.
One last question, if we have time.
Absolutely, go ahead.
What was your best mosh pit?
My best mosh pit was one of the many Slayer ones I've been in.
Yeah, Slayer was pretty intense.
Like I said, I do remember breaking a guy's nose in the Slayer mosh pit, and that was because he was one of these big dudes with no top on, and he was busting people in the head. So I just went over and up you go.
Oh, I almost did a Mike Tyson on someone in Deftones, where this guy was like nearly 7 foot tall, and he was giant. He came in with a rucksack.
Idiot.
And he just decided like he wanted to get to the barrier, so he was like literally grabbing people's jumpers and ripping them so he could pull them back so he could get to the barrier. I'm like, so he did that to me, rip a bit of the hood off of my jumper, and as he was doing it, he elbowed me in the face.
Oh.
And I was like, what's your fucking problem? And I called him out, and he turned around to me and goes, what's your fucking problem? I just saw fucking red. I was there like visioning Mike Tyson biting your man's ear off. I'm like, fucking do it. Just do it. And my mate Gav and Luke just had to hold me back. I was like, I was going to fucking lose at this chap.
Yeah, I would have followed through there. Back in those days, I would have fucking followed through.
I was close. But probably the best mosh pit would be probably my first gig again was Slipknot, but was with Children of Bodom and Machine Head during the Blood Drunk album, The Blackening, and All Hope Is Gone.
Nice.
So,
I'd say that was some gig.
Unreal.
Callum, what was yours?
Probably Cannibal Corpse in the Tivoli 2018, I want to say.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
I'd say that was crazy.
I'll put it this way. I was still living in Laois at the time, so I'd walk from the Tivoli to the Lewis, and I was limping, dripping blood, and I'm pretty sure I bruised a rib.
I hope you weren't coming blood though, then.
So someone basically tripped and then like full on WWE speared me because I went to catch him, and I think I bruised a rib or cracked a rib there. But my God, 100% worth it. And again, there's always one bastard in the pit at front, fucking elbow. So I clocked him a couple of times in the kidneys just for good measure.
That's what you do. That's what you got to do. It's the code. You got to do it.
I'm a nice guy. I'll give you one warning. Elbows down. You keep going. Okay, I'm gonna hit you on.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, anyone else something before we go?
I think the best mosh pit I remember was Hypocrisy at Vakin in like probably 02.
Nice.
I'd heard, I'd never seen it before, and that was like a religious experience. All I can remember is that I couldn't tell you what songs they played. I know they played Roswell 1947, but I couldn't tell you what else they played. And honestly, I have only one image in my brain, and it's of looking up through loads of people at the sky.
Definitely.
That's all. So it must be amazing, right?
It must have been good, yeah. Gerry, do you have a mosh pit before you go?
I remember Maiden in the Point, No Prayer for the Dying.
Oh, nice.
We arrived late, and as soon as we got in, it was just bedlam. And a mate of mine broke his hand on some guy's head.
Jesus.
And he had to get a pin inserted into it. So every time we meet up,
oh God,
that story still gets told. Yeah, he's got a big scar in the middle of his hand. It was actually one of our other mates he was hitting. I didn't realize it. So a mate of mine broke his hand on another mate's head.
That's friendship, huh?
Yeah.
I have one question. Just rapid fire. 3 bands that you'd love to see dream lineup first gig coming back into the country. So what would it be?
Like any bands, even if they're all dead.
Yep.
Ooh.
I'd love to see Slayer again.
Yeah.
The Who.
Slayer.
The Who, and who else?
Motorhead.
Probably, yeah, Judas Priest for me. So hopefully they'll make it with Ozzy next year. They got rave reviews for last night. So hopefully it's actually it's a good set to do, and it's just not a supporting set. Hopefully to do longer than an hour if they're here at all.
Yeah. I think you'll only get Ozzy as a tea lady now at this stage. He's not going to be able to perform. I think for me, I'd like to see Slayer, Crowbar, and if I can be so bold as to put my own band in there, that lineup, 2001.
Crowbar.
Fucking awesome. Slayer, Crowbar, and was.
For me, Orbiculture, Threat Signal, and Bleed From Within. So,
Carl.
Personally, I think. See, I'm a bit of a nerd, so I like when we take that shit. There's a band from the US called Barrel in the Sky. They just released an album a couple of days ago. Fantastic. So probably them, Gojira, and let's see, Neighbor Lives Karis, I reckon. I'd love to see them again, especially the fact they're dropping a new album hopefully later this year.
Cool. Carl.
I think if we're in the realms of fantasy, which we appear to be, then I'm going to go with Motorhead, followed by Slayer, followed by Motorhead again, because they'll have a chance to recover after.
That's an awesome lineup.
That'd be brilliant.
And it's an awesome way to end the show, actually. Gents, it's been fantastic. As I said, sorry about technical difficulties we've had, but
good.
It was a good chat. It was good to have an out chat, just chat about music, live music, some of our favorite shows, some of our maybe not so favorite shows. But it's been great to talk to you all, and thanks very much for coming onto the show tonight.
Thanks again, Carl.
Nice to have me.
Pleasure.
Absolutely. Anyways, KingWoes Court, we are out of here. Adios.